Okay, we can do, yeah.
Yes, of course.
That sounds good.
I'm here for
So are we doing the violence topic today, or are we going to do the movies?
Yeah. We study about topic 1. We are ready for topic 1.
Okay, perfect. Who wants to start the first question?
I know Daisy as well.
And what's a family violence?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, we were.
So have you guys ever experienced family violence?
And myself.
It doesn't have to be from a parent. It can be from another family member. It can be from an older brother or sister. It can be from an uncle or an aunt. Anyone. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Yeah. I think violent family is when a member of family is controlling and has their power to threatening or abusing another member in family, and the person who is violent is called perpetrator, and the person who experienced the violent family is called victim.
Wow, you did your research. Good job. You're right. It's called perpetrators and victims.
Yeah.
And,
Yes,
you know,
right.
violence doesn't have to be physical. They don't have to hit you. Sometimes it can be emotional. Some people just saying the same thing to you. Oh,
not right now.
You're fat, you're fat, you're fat. To little girls or boys, stuff like that. Violence is so many different kinds. And usually it has to do with control over your emotions or your body. And so many people go through that, hey?
So I have some knowledge.
Cam, what are your thoughts?
Personally, I think family violence is the use of violence by family members to resolve conflicts with other family members. I think so. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes it's, yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is just to resolve a conflict, and sometimes it's to control you. You know, I was watching TV the other day in Canada, and it was about this husband that had killed his wife. Sorry to talk about this so early in the morning, but then everybody else was like on the news. They were commenting down there, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, he was crazy. We knew this." Sometimes we know that people are abusive to others or their family members, but we don't say anything until it's too late.
Okay.
So have you guys ever, can you think of, you don't have to talk about it, but can you think about someone that you're like, wow, he's not very nice to his family. Maybe something is wrong. Why doesn't the family do something about it? Do you guys know someone like that?
Weather, or sometimes it's the
yeah, it did not happen in my family. So lucky.
Or the
You're very lucky. It happens to lots of families, yeah.
Full-time job where they have to go out every day.
With me in my family, sometimes me and my wife become upset with each other, but I try to control my feeling and my active, and I think the violence with my wife is so bad, but I always to try to avoid that, and sometimes we say something not good with my wife, but I never try to violate with my wife, and I think that is good to now. That's it.
That's good. Normally people try to resolve their issues by talking about it. They will talk to maybe the person that they're fighting with or somebody else just to resolve it. Some people, though, will abuse you physically. There's lots of, where I come from India, there's lots of people that are in domestically violent marriages. The husband is hitting the wife mostly, but sometimes wives can do that too. It's not, violence is not something that only men are capable of. Everybody's capable of it. So where I come from in India, there's lots of violence, but you still stay there because they don't know where else to go. They think that's normal. So yeah, I can see some people are not physically abusive, but I know some people that are emotionally abusive. If you did something that I didn't like, I'm gonna cry, or I'm gonna pretend like I'm committing suicide, or I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave you for little things. You forgot to bring something from outside. I say, oh, I'm leaving. So sometimes violence can just be emotional. It doesn't have to be physical. Can you guys think of any other ways that somebody would be abusive or violent?
It has its challenges.
Abuse means to either hit someone or emotionally abusing them, trying to control. Yeah, so we will talk about both abuse and violence today, because then I feel like it gives us more points to talk. Yeah,
but I can hear the word behind abuse.
Oh, sorry. My question was, do you guys know what types of other abuse exist? So we talked about physically trying to hurt someone, hitting them. We talked about emotionally. What else do people do? Do you guys know? How can you control someone in your life if you were a bad man or a bad woman?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to control a person who always like violence family, because they think it's normal. Yeah, it's normal. It's not harmful for another person in their family. But one day, when he so angry, he can kill. So he can kill the member in his family.
Thank you. That was good. Cam?
Yeah, his connection is not good.
Okay.
He will come back. He will come back now.
Okay. We can wait for him before we go to the next question. We were talking about abuse. There's also financial abuse that we see. In Canada, lots of people have joint accounts with their husbands or wives. So what sometimes some people do is they take control of all the money. Even if you want to go buy milk, you cannot buy veggies. You have to ask for permission. Hey, can I use $2 for this? Welcome back, Cam.
So, it's the same in Vietnam.
So Cam, we were talking about another type of abuse. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, so we were talking about financial abuse. So what some people do is if you have a joint account, they will take control of all of the money. So if you want to do something, you have to ask them for permission. So they take away your freedom And that's one kind of abuse where you have to ask them to even spend $2. What do you think? What do you think about financially controlling someone? Is that violence? Is that abuse?
No, I don't think so. Maybe if someone needs money, the money is a good way for control their emotional.
I know that kind of violence family. Yeah. The men control money in family, and they will pay a little money for a woman to buy something.
I think we've lost Cam again because of his connection. But yeah, you're right. It's all about control. They want to control you. So anyways, not hitting you, not emotionally, then they take away your money, and that's how they control you, right? So I think abuse and violence comes in many different forms. And we probably all know someone that does it, and we don't even realize that it's bad because it's normal.
Share your views with that at the end of the day. It's not a matter of life or death.
I don't know how the woman can stand her husband like that. Yeah, she should go out or do a job to earn money by herself. Yeah.
And it's one good thing about Vietnam I noticed, which I love, is both men and women work, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because, you know, money gives you food, money gives you a house, but money also gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you power. That's why Cam talks about his business. Right? Money gives you wings. You can fly, my friend. What do you think? Power of money.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. I think when I have a lot of money, I can become freedom, and I can do many things I like. But sometimes money is a problem for me when when the cash flow down, and actually I think the best way for reduce violence in family, when the woman to find some work and find money for their self. I think so.
Yeah, I think it helps. It does make people feel equal in the household, you know, when both of them have contributions. Yeah.
Yeah. But in some cases, the men don't allow the woman go to outside to meet another person or find a job. Yeah, they don't allow.
Yeah, you can have education and everything, but your partners will say, no, you have to stay at home. So then, you know,
Yes.
That's also a form of abuse and violence, because now they're controlling your time and they're not letting you step outside. And women do that too. I've seen men will go to work and then she'll be like, oh no, come back home. I'm not feeling well. I need this. So they won't let them have a consistent job. But because if you keep going to the job and then you keep saying, oh, I have to go home, my wife is sick, or my wife needs me, then your boss is going to be like, I can't rely on you. You cannot hold a job like that. if you are constantly leaving. So there's lots of, I work in a hospital because I'm a nurse, so I meet all kinds of people. There's lots of forms of violence and abuse that exist. Sometimes we don't even know that it's abuse, and after we think about it, and you're like, wow, that's not normal. That's not how you treat human beings. Sometimes men don't report it. We say that, see, if I Google it and there's lots of people, so you can say 10 women went to the police and said that somebody in their family was violent. But it's very hard for men to do that. You know, men think, oh, I'm manly. Nobody can abuse me. And in the society, what is somebody going to say to me if I tell them that someone is abusing me? So that's why I think sometimes research online we cannot rely on, because I think, I don't know how you guys feel, and you guys should correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's easier for women to admit that something is happening and that they need help than men. I think men in society have the pressure to be manly, to be strong. So sometimes if you go to your friends and you're like, oh, my wife hit me, you think, what are my friends gonna think, right? What do you think, Cam? Like, do you think you have the pressure to be strong all the time? You cannot cry in front of people. You cannot admit to people that you are feeling weak, because you're a human being. You feel weak sometimes. But do you feel as a man it's hard for you to talk about it because of society?
He never in that case. So he couldn't share to us.
He's thinking about it. It's a heavy question we asked him.
You asked me?
Yeah, I asked you. I asked you, if you think that if it's harder for men to report. You know, if I Google it, I always see women are abused, men hit women. But do you think it's because men don't go to the police when women hits them because they think it's embarrassing, and they think that somebody will say, oh, you're a man, why, how, you know?
In the situation is when the woman hitting a man, and the man can't speak with police, right? I think I never seen a situation in the past, and in the Vietnamese it's not common. Almost situation I saw when the man hit a woman, and almost situation I saw the woman always silent, keep silent, and they don't want to share with other people, especially they never report to police. And I know one thing. Vietnamese has a law to protect children and women avoid out violence, but I never seen this law work in life. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, laws are everywhere that you cannot do this, but who's gonna come to your house to check on you? In India, if you call the police, they want money first, and then they come help you. You know, there's so many other things that happen before somebody will come help you in case of a family violence. Or family members say, oh no, don't go to the police, he'll change or she will change. It's just a phase. Maybe it's something you did. all these things. We have so many hurdles. Do you guys know what hurdles means?
Hurdle.
Hurdles, Hurdles, hurdles. So that means that it's a problem that you have to overcome before you can do something. It's like if you're driving and there's a rock in front of you and you can't move your car anymore, it's a hurdle for you. That rock is a hurdle. If you want to go to the police and your mom comes and says, no, he's going to change. That's a hurdle before you get help, right? So it's something that's stopping you from doing what you want to do. So lots of hurdles before you can report the family violence too. Anna, do you know the phone number where you can report family violence?
Yeah, we move to another question.
Okay.
No, I just answered the third question.
Okay.
In Vietnam, it's common. It's common in my country, especially in the north, no, in the south of Vietnam, or a group in ethnic. They often happen. I know the men use alcohol every day, and it also a reason to rise violent family because they don't control their thinking. Yeah.
So why do you think there is more violence in the north than the south? Both of you guys.
Yeah, I was born in the south of Vietnam, and when I was a kid, it often happened around me. Yeah. Or when I when I read the news on the internet. Yeah, I see that.
So I have two countries now. I was born in India and I live in Canada. So I guess I can talk about both of them. In India, there's lots and lots of family violence. And it's sad. It does happen when a man, it's usually the perpetrator is a man, and the victim is a woman usually. And it happens in areas where there's not a lot of education. People are not going to school. People are not aware of what's going on in society. It happens when they don't have a lot of money, then they're not able to feed you. There's problems, financial issues. It does happen in those situations. In Canada, I think abuse, yes, there's more from men, but I think in Canada, women are also abusive. They're not physically abusive or physically violent, but emotionally. I've seen that quite a bit, where they are very, very emotionally controlling the view. They don't want you to have friends. They don't want you to talk to a woman, even if she works with you. She's like a sister, but they don't want you to talk to her. All those things. So in both of my countries, there's different kinds of violence, but in Canada, both women are and men are abusive, but in India, I mostly saw men doing that. It's your turn, Cam.
First thing, I think the violence is common in Vietnam, but some area we can see many different of the violence. For example, in the urban area, I saw many situations, emotional violence, but in the countryside, the physical violence become common, and I think the problem is depend on their education high level. So when you train so much higher, and when you train higher, the people have a chance to use the emotional violence. But with many other people lower education, they 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 use physical violence. That's it.
Yeah, that's very insightful. Education makes such a difference. I mean, it doesn't solve all the problems, but I'm a very big advocate for education. If you cannot do anything else for your children, give them education, because it does affect people differently. If you are educated, you are less likely to abuse someone physically. I'm not saying emotional abuse doesn't happen, but it is shown that less physical abuse in areas where the literacy is higher.
Sometimes when a woman pregnant, her husband become different than before. He always think she identity with another man, and he used violent family to punish her. Although she don't do that, she doesn't do that.
I don't know what it is. Yes, I read some research somewhere that abusive men get even more abusive when the wife is pregnant. I have no idea what this is about, but I have also read it. It's weird that they do that. Yeah, you would think that they would stop because there's a baby involved now and she's not feeling so well. But I have seen even online and in some news that when a woman is pregnant, the abuse is severe.
Of course you can.
I don't know when the woman pregnant can facing the violence. I don't know, and I don't know how I can talk about it.
Yeah, but it happened in some situation.
Maybe I never saw before. Yeah.
You live a very lucky life then. We all do, you know, most people, most of us, it seems like we are educated, we are independent. We are one of the lucky ones because it does happen to lots of people, men and women everywhere around the world, especially from family. Another kind of violence that we didn't discuss is sexual violence, and that happens as well. And it's a very big thing. It can be from your partner, it can be you being a child and somebody else being an adult, and them abusing you. It's a mess. It's a whole mess. It's criminal. It shouldn't happen, but it does happen. People do get abused sexually and very violently. And one of the things in my country, India, that happens quite a bit, where husband and wife, they had a fight, so he abuses her sexually. There's lots of things like that occur. So I just want to mention, because that's also one kind of a violence, and it's kind of an abuse.
Yeah, I think it's terrible because sometimes the perpetrator is an old man, and he raped a child. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's very common in Europe, in religious communities too, because you send your children for training there, and they are living together with older, younger, all ages, and abuse like that happens there a lot. And if it's with a child, they don't know what to do. They don't know if it's normal. They don't know if it's their fault. They don't know if they should tell the parents. It's a situation that nobody has taught them about.
I'm rarely I saw the violence with children in my life, and around me I saw many other situations, violence with wife.
I think that's the most common thing that we've all seen, because it happens. We haven't seen other things. But why do you think that is? Do you think it's because sometimes socially we say, oh yeah, it's okay if husband and wife are fighting? So you hear more about it because people will talk about it, and they're like, yeah, I had a fight with my wife, I had a fight with my husband. But nobody talks about children like that, because we don't accept that in society. We think that's wrong. But we don't think that husband-wife fighting is wrong. Just something to think about. What we accept in society and what we don't.
Of course, I don't accept. But if we want to change, I think the government have to do something to save women and child.
I think the first thing and the key for problem is the law is real working in our life. But in Vietnam, when some problem happening, we can use money and everything passed. So that's why I think the law very hard for working in our life. And I think in long time in the future, violence still common in our society. I think so.
I think same with India. In India, if you give policeman the money, he's not going to arrest you. And also, because our government is so corrupt, policemen are corrupt, and then people are corrupt. They don't want to help you. So I agree with you, Cam. Like, I think that this problem is not going to go away because we're not making any changes. It's the same government. It's the same everything. So how do we expect change? You know, they say if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results.
I don't know, but I think really hard for we can change that problem in our society. Really hard, and in fact, I don't. I'm not a government, so I don't know how I can change.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's very hard. We'll talk about. I think we have less than a minute left, so why don't we start another video and then go continue our discussion there? It's a good discussion. I'm enjoying it.